Greetings everyone, and welcome to part 3 of the Doctor Who DVD Disambiguation. Today we're going to cover Season 3 of the original classic series, which ran from 1965 to 1966, for a grand total of 45 half-hour episodes. It's actually the longest season of the initial 6 seasons, where they had the lengthier seasons. We're also going to cover the first 2 stories of Season 4, because that'll actually bring us right to the end of the first Doctor's era quite nicely and tidily. In later years, when there was a changeover of Doctors, they would have the previous Doctor's regeneration story at the end of the season. So you'd have to wait until the next season to see the new Doctor. But, you know, this was the first time they'd ever done it, and, well, they decided just to do it after the first couple stories of the new season instead. I guess it was probably more of a shock and surprise then, too, because it just kind of happened out of nowhere. Pretty cool stuff. Anyway, Season 3 and the first little bit of Season 4 of Doctor Who on DVD, today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Well, Season 3, sadly, is where we start to get into huge batches of missing episodes. So you're going to notice some pretty sizable gaps between the stories that still remain. So to begin with, we left off with story number 17 at the end of Season 2, which was the Time Meddler. Next up, we have story number 18, which is Galaxy 4. Now, sadly, story number 18 is one of the ones that is missing most of the episodes. It was a 4-part story, of which, until recently, all that existed was a few clips. They had about a 6 or 7 minute clip from episode 1, and then just a handful of snippets from some of the other episodes. However, back in December of 2011, I believe, they actually found one of the missing episodes, specifically part 3. And they recently released all that was available, reconstructed with photos and pieces of the original soundtrack, because, as I've mentioned, all the original audio tracks are still fully intact, thanks to the efforts of industrious fans back in the day. So we do have all the audio from all the missing episodes. We're just missing the video part of it. So anyway, they released all that exists of Galaxy 4 in the form of a condensed 64-minute long reconstruction as a special feature on the recently released Special Edition of the Aztecs. So if you want story number 18, you have to get story number 6. Specifically, the Special Edition version of the Aztecs. It is not on the regular, non-Special Edition of the Aztecs. So get that one, and you'll have all that exists of Galaxy 4. Next up, we get into the first of a long string of missing episodes. We have story number 19, which is a single episode story entitled Mission to the Unknown. Now, this is an interesting episode because it actually does not feature any of the regular cast. It's actually a standalone episode, which is a prologue to an epic 12-part story that occurs a couple stories down the line, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. So, sadly, Mission to the Unknown is missing, and it does not have a standalone CD release because it actually goes together with the aforementioned 12-parter. So we'll cover that and how you can at least experience the audio of it in just a moment. Next up, we have story number 20, The Mythmakers, which you can get on a standalone CD. This is the complete audio with accompanying narration to explain what's going on when it's not obvious from the show audio. In this one, the TARDIS crew goes back to ancient Greece and helps out with the, of course, legendary Trojan horse maneuver. Pretty cool stuff. Next up, we have the epic 12-part saga, The Daleks' Master Plan. Yeah, this is the one that Mission to the Unknown was the prologue for. So the way it was released on audio CD was as a collection which includes Mission to the Unknown as part of it. So you have Mission to the Unknown and all 12 parts of The Daleks' Master Plan on this collection here. Another audio CD, I believe it's 5 CDs. It's quite a sizable set, but this includes the entire story. Now, interesting to note, there are actually 3 episodes that still exist, so you can at least see 3 of the 12 episodes complete and intact. And you've seen this set before if you've watched the other parts. Those 3 episodes are on the Lost in Time William Hartnell years collection. So, there you go. So next up we have story number 22, The Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve, also known simply as The Massacre. Again, all 4 episodes are missing, however you can enjoy the audio on this CD here. So, yeah. It's better than nothing, right? Then, finally, we have a complete story again. We've got story number 23, The Ark, which is actually a pretty cool story that's kind of split into 2 time periods. They visit this Ark in the future, and everything's fine and hunky-dory, and then the TARDIS crew goes off at the end of episode 2, and they come back at the beginning of episode 3 to see how things are going, and things aren't going so well. It's actually pretty creepy in parts. It's a pretty good one. So anyway, we have story 23. So if you're collecting just the DVDs so far, you basically have story 18 represented on the special edition of the Aztecs, parts of story 21 on Lost in Time, and then story number 23 on the Ark. So the Ark is actually the earliest full complete story of season 3. So you begin to see just how devastated some of these seasons are by missing episodes. So next up we have story number 24, The Celestial Toymaker, which interestingly enough contains seasoned British actor Michael Gough as the Celestial Toymaker. Now Michael Gough you may know from the 80s and 90s Batman movies as Alfred. Yes, he's actually the main villain in this particular Doctor Who story. Now sadly, again, 3 of the 4 episodes are missing. However, the one that is still in existence is the final episode, so you actually at least get to see the final confrontation between the Doctor and his companions and the Celestial Toymaker and his minions, and it is quite a good episode, and you can find that single stray orphaned episode again on the Lost in Time set, and that actually is it for the Lost in Time set. That's all of the episodes that are represented here. So just to give you a quick summary, you have the 2 existing episodes of The Crusade on here, which is story number 14. The 3 existing episodes of the Daleks Master Plan, which is story number 21. And then the final episode of The Celestial Toymaker, which is story number 24. And that leads directly into story number 25, which is complete, The Gunfighters. Yeah, where the Doctor and the TARDIS crew actually go back to the OK Corral and meet up with some famous gunslingers of yesteryear of American history, yet they speak with British accents. Go figure. Yeah, we'll just let that one slide. But it's fun. It's fun stuff. Next up, we have story number 26, The Savages, all 4 episodes of which are missing. But, of course, you can enjoy the audio on this CD right here. So, there you go. Then finally, we have story number 27, which is a great season ender again, and happily complete. We have The War Machines, which is another 4-part story. So there you go. So that is all the DVDs that exist for season 3. So if you're just getting the DVDs, this is all you would need. So if you're getting them all in order, then presumably you already have the Aztecs. So you would basically just need the Ark, the Gunfighters, the War Machines, and then of course the Lost in Time collection to wrap everything up. Now, moving into the first couple stories of season 4, the season opener was a 4-part story entitled The Smugglers. And again, all 4 episodes are missing. There are a handful of clips available, and I think you can actually see the existing clips on the Lost in Time collection. The Lost in Time collection is really great, by the way, because not only do you get those orphaned episodes, but you also get any surviving like snippets and clips and stuff that have been discovered. So it's really invaluable if you're looking to experience in full audio-visual form some of those early missing stories in at least partial form. So I definitely recommend picking that up to accompany your full story DVDs. It's invaluable, absolutely invaluable. And a lot of the material isn't available anywhere else anyway, so you might as well get it to complete your collection. Then finally, we have story number 29, which is William Hartnell's last story, one entitled The 10th Planet. Now, The 10th Planet, at the time of this recording, is not available on DVD. However, it is coming out later this year as part of the 50th anniversary. Now, the story itself is not actually complete. It's a 4-part story. They have the first 3 episodes, but sadly they're missing the last episode, which arguably is one of the single most important single episodes in the entire history of the series. Why? Well, it's the last episode to feature the first Doctor. It's the first episode ever to feature a regeneration from one Doctor to the next. So it's the first regeneration ever. I mean, this was a really cutting-edge idea when they did it, and they had no idea if it was going to work. I mean, okay, we're basically changing our lead actor here in a series that's been doing fairly well for the past 3 years. It's, this idea is either going to sink or swim. Now, fortunately, it not only swam, it frickin' turned into a flying fish and went off into the stratosphere. Yeah, and luckily, even though the full episode is missing, they do actually have the regeneration scene itself. So we are able to at least see the original regeneration, which is pretty cool. Now, a few years back, they released the 10th Planet on VHS, and I do have a picture of that. So there's the VHS release. The VHS release featured all 3 surviving episodes and a reconstruction of the final episode from existing clips and still photos and stuff like that, all matched up with the original soundtrack. Now, that reconstruction is going to be included on the forthcoming DVD release. In addition to that, they're also doing a fully animated version of the 4th episode. So you'll actually have 2 ways you can enjoy the final episode of The First Doctor, which is pretty cool that they're doing that. Now, here's the thing. If you just can't wait until November, when that particular volume is coming out, there is this set here, which appears to be only available in Region 2 land. So if you're in Region 1 land like me, you're SOL, as the saying goes. But this is the Regenerations set. And what this set is it's a collection of every single regeneration story in the entire 50-year history of the series. So every single story in which the Doctor regenerated from one Doctor into the next is included in this set. And being released almost, 4 or 5 months before the official standalone release, they're actually including the 10th Planet in there. Now, the kicker is, it's not the full release that you're going to be getting on the standalone release later. It's essentially a bare bones release of just the episodes with the animated reconstruction. Maybe a few extras. I don't know the specifics. I think there might be a handful of extras on there, but nothing major. The full release of that story, which is coming out in November, will be far more deluxe. I mean, it's going to be deluxe because it's one of the most important episodes of the entire series. It's the first appearance of the Cybermen. It's the last episode featuring the First Doctor. It's the first regeneration. It's a huge, huge deal. So, yeah. But if you just can't wait and you at least want to see the story, you can pick up the Regeneration set. Of course, being a huge box set, expect to pay a little bit more than you would for just the standalone release when it comes out later this year. And that's pretty much it. Done. That is the end of the First Doctor's era, the end of Season 3, and, well, we move on into the Second Doctor next time. Let me just quickly rearrange all these for you here. So, going in reverse order, we have Story 27, The War Machine. Story 25, The Gunfighters. Story 23, The Ark. These are the only 3 complete stories from all of Season 3. Then we have Stories 21 and 24, represented by their only surviving orphaned episodes on the Lost in Time set, as well as plenty of clips from some of the other episodes. And finally, the season opener, Story 18, represented by a condensed reconstruction with all surviving material on the Aztecs Special Edition. Alrighty, that is it from me to you for now, so we'll see you next time for Season 4, the debut of Patrick Troughton as the Second Doctor. Until then, thanks for watching, and sayonara. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Part 3 of the Doctor Who DVD Disambiguation. This time around, we're going to cover Season 3 of the original series, which ran from 1965 to 1966, and we're going to cover... which, interestingly... The season opener... The season...